What's going on, everybody? This is AJ Capasso here, host of Talking with the Source. I'm here with two of my great friends and one that's about to come on. But please introduce yourself to my right.
Would that be me? To your right?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Nando. I'm part of Portal to the Paranormal, based in the UK.
My name is Bryan John Laverty, aka the SB7 Whisperer, and Mr. Zipper, and Mr. Nipples.
Oh, that's a new one. I like that.
You apparently haven't been watching the shows lately.
No, I haven't had a chance. No, but I'm gonna have to watch now because now I'm curious.
That was a name given to me by Howard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's Anthony from.
Yeah, Anthony.
Maybe we should get Anthony up here.
Yeah, I know. Can you send him the link? Hey, Anthony, want to join us?
I will send him the link. Anthony, if you are interested, I will send him the link right now.
How are you? Thank you so much for watching.
You know what? Have you guys ever, I don't know if you guys ever watch or go to like a laptop or computer. I find Facebook is really slow on the computer.
Yeah. Okay. So Anthony's at work right at the moment, so he can't come on, but it's all good.
Maybe next time.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway,
no
so I first wanted
maybe.
to go over. Brian, we were just talking, me and Nando in the back, and Nando was telling, like, we were just talking about something that we always talk about, and it was like about how the shows are always, now focused on demonic activity, and like everything's a demon, and then you see it a lot on YouTube now. And we were just saying, Nando and me were just saying how, we don't believe that, it's always a demonic entity and all this stuff. And, I told him, I was like, from my experience, 99% of the time, it's not like, it's mostly, this either a person who was already evil in life, that's evil, obviously, in death, or it's just an angry spirit that's sick and tired of getting probably poked around, asking to turn lights on and
so
all.
What are you saying? All the popular YouTubers are not seeing something demonic every single week? What? Really?
No,
Come on, seriously?
I mean, yeah, like I'm a little like, can you believe it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of demons.
Awful. That's awfully disappointing.
The thing is, you got to look. We, as a group, all of us investigate a lot of different locations that has bags of history. I know.
Yeah.
When you come over, Brian, using that as an example, we took you to many different locations, and we picked up different things. And what I was saying to AJ in the back is, like, especially with like the SB7, the voices don't come through as a natural voice. Sometimes it's distorted because of the radio wavelength it's going through. And then, but it doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean it's something demonic. We need to appreciate every spirit that comes forward. They have a different amount of energy, I believe. It's hard for them. But I, as I was saying to AJ, I just think a lot of these shows, YouTubers, unfortunately, in my belief, is that they're trying to bring in as many viewers as possible, and I just think they're going the wrong way about it. They're concentrating on one, they're emphasizing on the demonic energies, but then they're not looking at the bigger picture, how you can actually bring a story. And one thing that is very clear to me, AJ, when Brian come down with Lex, we went to the mausoleum. And we had, Brian and Lex were getting in really intelligent responses that brought out a love story. And I kid you not, it was actually confirming that two people that had died in different periods and they were buried in different places and brought back together, they were in the mausoleum that night. Do you remember?
Yeah, of course I do. Because there's a lot of people out there and a lot of paranormal investigators out there, and there's even people that are not in paranormal investigations always have that question when somebody dies, and somebody dies like a spouse or a boyfriend or girlfriend dies years later. We always wonder if they find each other or if they're back together. That kind of confirmed that night, at least for those two. I'm not saying it happens for everyone, but referring to the demonic entity crap. I would say out of 10 locations, if you were to find something demonic in those 10 locations, it would probably be 0.
Yeah.
To be honest.
No,
And you know, like even like I get a little tired as well. If something is thrown or something is like tossed off the counter, or a plate is, or a cabinet's open, or a plate falls off the counter or a table, people automatically assume it's a poltergeist or a demonic entity, which is, you could just really have a pissed off spirit. Like, for example, when we were in Fort Whitley, there's a guy in that center area where we were that's been caught on camera, where the guy was pushed. You remember? I don't know if you remember this, Nando. I'm sure you were there.
No, I was there.
I saw the guy or the man who's the pissed off one there. He came right into my face and yelled and screamed at me, but he was nothing demonic. He was just really, really pissed off.
That was where the spiral stairs were.
That's when we first got there, and you guys were putting down the cat balls, and you had the REM pod. And remember when I said, you guys are wasting your time, he's not even going to come close to this?
Yeah, I remember. And I think we went down towards the north tunnel, didn't we?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
because that was also a really fun night, because someone was trying to be cool in front of the camera for the first time and ended up nearly falling through a fireplace.
And I do have that. I do have that. It's not as bad as we describe it to be,
but it's still funny.
With, Nando almost falling over. He put his foot in a fireplace. It was a fireplace, right? Was that a fireplace?
Yeah, it was a little fireplace.
Yeah.
On the wall.
Anyways, but when it comes to demonic stuff, I think it's just, you know, like I always say to people, you got to take everything with a grain of salt when you're watching these YouTube videos, you know. And also on top of that, it doesn't help when they put in the thumbnail, there was something demonic here this night, or the demonic entity was chasing us, or, you know, stuff like that. When they put it in their thumbnails, doesn't help as well. So, and obviously we all know when you're watching a video and you see the thumbnail, it's clickbait when they're putting that stuff. So if you see something like a cool title, obviously you're going to click on it, you know. So you got to be careful of that as well. Hello, chat. The channel was in my recommendations. There you go. That's a good thing. That is a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, so English is not his first language.
Philip, that's totally okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate you joining us. And feel free to, you know, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. And
does he understand English really well?
Yeah. Do you understand English really well?
There you go.
But anyway, yeah, no, I mean, going back to what you guys were saying, I mean, that place, from what I've heard from Bryan, from what Bryan has told me, and from what I just heard from you, Nando, seemed like it was a very, like, you know, a very awesome place for you guys to go and investigate. I mean, like, Bryan, did you guys ever get some great communication there after that guy, you know, came into your face and, you know, you saw it?
Yeah, it's interesting, because as soon as I left that area, me and Sarah went around the corner, and there was like a little room, and we did a spirit box in there. And I asked, right, you know, sometimes my first question is, what is your name? And I said, what is your name? And we got a response right away, and it sounded like it said Ted. So I haven't seen that part of the footage yet, but it definitely sounded like it was Ted. And, you know, what was really weird is what I couldn't figure out when we went into these like little room areas. There were like these fur balls on the ground.
Oh,
I don't know what they were. You remember that, Nando? And that
I remember.
It was like a fur. I remember that. I have no idea what they were. They were weird. I think I got a picture of one, so I'll probably put that in the video. Just really, I don't even know what they are. It's just weird. But Fort Whitley is amazing. That was our last. I think that was our last investigation.
Yeah, that was the last one of the night.
Yeah,
it was.
So we get. Hey, listen, we got great responses everywhere we went. We got some amazing responses in the caves that we went to. We discovered there was a woman there in the caves, and I even saw something walking back and forth, like
Wow.
she couldn't leave the tunnel, or he leave the tunnel.
Yep.
And so we went out. So I said, I need to do a spirit box up there because I just saw something walking back and forth. And we did a
Yep.
spirit box, and we got some amazing responses on the spirit box. It was just really, really super, super cool. It really was. And I think, wasn't it? I think it was just recently I captured something amazing off the spirit box when I went to Tennessee. And it's, oh yes, this is it. I went to I think it was the Octagon Hall one. I have to go. I think it was Octagon Hall. It said my name 3 times. Oh, wait a minute. Which
Wow.
one was that? Sorry, let me think about this for a minute. I got to remember. Okay. Oh, no, sorry. I know what it was. It was the documentary that is coming out soon. Okay, so there's a documentary coming out soon, and it's almost done. And they're doing the final touches. The score, the music is being created for this documentary. Anyways,
Cool.
I was upstairs and I asked again, "What is your name?" And it said Bryan Laverty, Bryan.
Wow. I can't
Yeah,
wait. That I cannot.
yeah.
Wait that.
You know what? I should show it to you guys.
Yeah. Could you pull it up?
Oh, I could.
Oh.
If you guys want to talk. Yeah, I could.
Yeah. So Nando, while he's setting that up, because we're gonna get an exclusive right now of this awesome response. I want to know, what is your go-to, Nando, when you're out there for a spirit box? Would it be PSP7? Do you use apps? What is it?
Do you know what? To be fair, the apps, in my opinion, you got to be careful which ones that you're using, because
100%.
if they're using your data, then it can potentially give you false information. The only one that I am a bit on the fence with is Necrophonic.
Okay.
Because you can actually switch off and put your phone into airplane mode, and it still gives you responses.
Yep.
So we have used that a few times, and when we ask a question, we've had some intelligent responses come through. But the SB7's got to be my go-to, because you can't, if you're getting a direct response. And I think a few times, once with Bryan and Lex, we were at the Royal Victoria Country Park, and we were stood in a group, and Bryan was stood in the middle, and he was introducing every person around. And it went to Lex, and it says Lex's name. And then out of all that, my name's quite unusual, Nando. You're not going to hear that come on the SB7.
Yeah.
And as he said my name, it said Nando, and we played it back, and it was very clear.
Wow.
So I always say the SB7 is one of my go-to tools that I will always use.
Of course.
And then the other thing that I do like to use, that we're using it a bit more, is doing the Gansfield. Have you heard of that?
Yep. The
You're basically taking away the person's sight, and they're, you're working more on what they're hearing through the SB7, but on headphones. So we ask questions, and we get responses through the person that's listening. And we recently did an event at Merley House, which Bryan come with us on the first investigation when he did the tour. And the responses that we were getting, and it was quite funny because Dan, one of the owner of Ports of the Paranormal, and we had a guy that just wanted to experience it. They were sat in the chat, and they both got touched, and
wow.
It was amazing, because you see that they're both being touched at, and the catwalk was going off around them, but they were all given intelligent responses. And with Dan, he shouted out the girl's name called Emily. And we were trying to go through, has Emily ever come up before? Anyway, we're walking back out of the office on the downstairs part of the cellar. And as we're walking past this window, there's a name in the glass of the window, and it was Emily.
Wow.
And we never noticed it until we started walking past, and we were just looking out the window, and this name Emily was on there. And he had said Emily before even seeing the window, because you got to walk right around the corner.
What are the odds? What are the odds of that?
Yeah, it was it was weird. So yeah, but the SB7 is definitely one, and I've learned to use that a lot more. How to use my questioning and things like that. Part of that is learning from the team. Again, Bryan, he taught me a lot when he come down. He showed me, certain ways to ask your questions and how to get the best responses. So I've been using that as I've gone along, and some of the stuff that I've got come through has been, like I said to you, AJ, before this, I thought, and I'm sorry to everyone that's watching, but I thought it was a load of hocus pocus because I was basing it more on what I was seeing on YouTube, what I was seeing on TV.
I'm guilty with.
But then when you go out with people that has a real true passion and, and doing it the right way, you see how good this community, the paranormal field, actually is. And you can't fault it when you're with the right sort of people and doing it the right way. And that's what I've learned how I've learned to love the field, if you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely. No, see, I totally agree with all that. See, I use necrophonic too myself. I like using necrophonic. I do obviously my go-to is my PSP7. Just because the responses that I've been getting lately with it has been just awesome. But I wanted to say real quick, Philip said, Bryan, that Laverty sounds French, I think. And Philip, Bryan is actually from Canada. So are you French, Bryan?
No.
And no, you're not French.
No, I'm trying to open it. It won't open. Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay. And we have Ayla, who says, hi, everyone. Great to see you. I had a spirit of a little boy light up the Catball toy in my hospital room yesterday. It was so cool. The nurses have told me they see children on this floor. My friend got a picture of a little boy by my bed yesterday. He is see-through, but she said he looks 2 or 3 years old. This hospital was built in 1953 in Victoria, BC. That is awesome, Ayla. That is totally.
Do you know, if you don't mind, I want to throw a question up to you guys now. So,
yeah.
It sounds like she's in hospital, so it could be that she has some medical things going on, or just like, do you feel that spirits, when you are at your most vulnerable, do you think you're more likely to have spirits that will come through and show themselves to you to give you some sort of comfort, or do you know what I mean? Do you believe that spirits can channel in when something's wrong with you, and do you think they would come more likely to come through and try and communicate with you?
I do believe that, and I do believe that in the moments that we need the most support, or the most whatever you want to call it, from the other side, whether it be a loved one, a friend, anything that you basically have in your life that is has passed on or crossed over, I believe that they do come through, and I believe they can. I don't know. I'm not saying they always will, but I believe they can, definitely 100%. And that would be one of the times where I would definitely look for signs and stuff like that. I mean, I always look for signs, little signs, subtle signs, anyway, all the time. But, just during that time, I would say, yes, I do believe that it's possible 100%.
Yeah. I agree. I think when you're in your most vulnerable state, you're opening yourself up to stuff. When you're going through something, when you're stressed, anything is possible.
Philip says, is it okay I share my encounter with paranormal and have your advice on it? Absolutely, Philip. Please put anything in the comments. We'll put it on put it up on the screen, and we'll do our best to answer it. Everything that we say is just obviously theory. No one is an expert in this field, but we can definitely give you our advice from our experiences that we believe on the subject. But we can't say that it's 100% fact because, like I said, nobody's an expert in this field. So, but feel free to share with us anything. And Ayla says, absolutely, I had spirits warn me of danger like a fire years ago. And that's funny that she says that. Nando, have you had any experiences where you've had a gut feeling or something that like warned you maybe not to leave the house, early, or something along those lines, like anything?
I wouldn't say nothing that's warned me of any kind of danger, but the thing that made my passion even more for the paranormal is a bit of a personal situation. So basically, back in June, I had to have an operation. 2 days later, I developed 2 blood clots in my lungs, and I was really poorly.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I remember sitting on the sofa. Sarah was trying to, tend to me with my medication and everything. And I was that bad. I sort of was like in and out. But my grandfather come through to me, and I think you got Italian background, so you know nonna is the word that you use for granddad. And I turned to Sarah and I sort of said, "Don't worry, my nonna said it would be all right."
Yeah.
And it was just funny because even when I come through from the operation, I woke up knowing that I was speaking to my auntie that had passed. We were in the garden. You know, I can explain the setting and everything.
Wow.
And that's why I was asking the question to you guys about, do you think when you're at your most vulnerable, people are going to come through to you? Because I feel now, and I think that's where my passion has grown, because I've had that experience where we were sat in the garden and she loved her gardening. So it fits her being in the garden. And she was sat there with me saying, "You're all right, everything's going to be okay." And then I started coming around and she was the first person that I can remember seeing before anyone, you know. So yeah. I haven't had any warnings of danger, but I've had people come through, you know, when I've been at my most vulnerable, shall we say. And, you know, and that was an amazing experience. Scary, but amazing at the same time. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit of like the emotion sets in because there were two people I was very close to. And for both of them to come through at a very close period of time, you know, really got me. And, you know, and that's where it sparked an interest that I want to find out more. Not, you know, pushing anything, because I think there's a right way of doing it as well. You've got to be respectful at all times. But I just think, you know, I really want to learn more and find out more and uncover stories and share it with people, basically.
So I did find it. It's going to say my name, and then right after that, it says it again, but just says Bryan. Okay.
Let me put it full screen.
Yeah.
All right.
Just hold on. Okay, why is it not showing now? What the hell? What the hell? You're seeing a black screen, right?
Yeah.
Oh Christ! Let me stop it for a minute. Let me find it again. Jesus, Murphy.
Wait. Does that say dwarf porn? No, I'm sorry. I'm
Sorry.
I'm just joking.
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
I gotta find it again. There it is. Okay. So there are notes and stuff like this on here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So let me go here. So it does say Laverty. So let me go here. There it is right there. That's Laverty. Wait a minute. Let me find it again. Oh, dear. Where'd it go now? Okay. Let me start it here. There it is there. There's Laverty.
What is your name? Say that again.
Laverty again. There it is again.
Is there a male or female in this room?
There you go, right there. Do you hear it? It's a little behind. It's a little behind. Let me do it again. Listen again.
Is there a male or female in this room?
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me turn it up a little bit. I'll turn it up a little bit.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to play it again.
Is there a male or female in this room?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a good bit of footage. Jeez.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like, I don't know why it's so behind. It's normally not that behind when I render it. But no, this is just I know what he says. Can you play it slower? I can't play it slower, unfortunately. But This is
Yeah.
just putting the words in there, getting it all set up, but it seems a little behind from actually where I placed it originally in the software, in the editing software. So I'll have to go through it.
Yeah.
But it's what it says is it goes Laverty, Bryan Laverty, and then it says Bryan. So it's really,
Laverty.
really super cool.
I heard the Bryan too.
Yeah.
That's the cool. That's so cool.
So and the reason I brought that up is because of the fact that, we've had people on the show through the lens in the past talking about how the SB7 is a broken radio and that's all it is. And which is fine. People have their opinion, but I don't know how many radio stations at that moment were saying Laverty, Bryan Laverty, and Laverty and Bryan.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm
sorry.
but that to me is validation with the SB7 for sure.
Definitely. You know what? Every time I talk to my father through that PSP7, he talks like how he did in life, and all he does is swear. And I get swear word after swear word coming through the PSP7. You're not going to hear the word, fuck or anything like that on the PSP7 because it's coming through a radio station. That's not going to happen, So when people say to me, "Oh yeah, it's a fake," or there's certain things that like there's DJ or whatever, I'm like, that makes no sense. I'm like, how do you debunk that when you're getting relevant answers and you're getting swear words that are clear as day that you're hearing that would not be on the radio over here because it's against the law to even have that on the radio.
So I'm going to show you one other thing in this video, which is super, super cool. Now, I've talked about this on previous shows. Okay, so we had a medium tarot card reader come in to this place. He's very, very good at what he does. Out of 10 mediums of tarot card readers, I would believe him. Everybody else, I wouldn't believe. Anyway, so long story short about this inn. The inn was around in the War of 1812. It was invaded by the American soldiers, and there was a British soldier that was killed in the basement. Now, what's interesting about this is when they invaded the bar, he ran downstairs to the basement, hid in one of those wine barrels, those big, huge wine barrels, hid in one of them. The American soldiers came downstairs to the basement and started stabbing the wine barrels. He was killed in one of the wine barrels.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so what's really cool about this scene that I'm going to show you, we were upstairs because there was definitely more of a negative energy upstairs. Now, you don't see it in this clip, but I basically asked the question because his name was Captain Colin Swayze. How did you die? Now, what's really cool about this, as I told you, he died, but watch the card that he pulls up. Okay? So I'm just going to share this again.
Robin is my other host. He just came in. He was actually at a location, so he was a little late. But Robin is my other host. So Robin, this is Philip. He's a new watcher.
And who's the other two at the bottom? I don't know who they are.
Yeah,
Okay, so you can. I brought that up. Now you can share it if you want to.
All right, sharing it now.
Okay. So now before we get started, now what he does on every single question, he always mixes up the cards. Okay. And then when something is talking to them, that's when he stops and he splits the cards or he keeps the deck in one. But one thing he noticed in this place, when a question was asked, the spirits talked to him very, very quickly. That's what's really cool about this. So if people are wondering, okay, that card was set up. No, it wasn't, because he mixed up the cards. Okay.
Gotcha.
Here we go. As you can see, he's mixing up the cards now. Okay. Here we go.
Contact Captain Colin Swayze.
Okay, we're good. Good. Okay. Captain Swayze, how were you killed?
Nine of Swords. I think we can count this as confirmation that the story is true, and he was killed by swords in the basement here. Even the story of the barrel. I mean, there isn't a barrel in this photo, but look at it. You feel like that's most definitely confirmation about the story we heard.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was it? There you go. See how cool that was?
Wow, that's
all the
pretty cool.
cards he could have picked. You know,
Yeah.
you can see he's clearly shuffling away there, so he can't
There's no
tell
way.
what card's going to come up. So that's
and the one with the circle, which is a symbol of the barrel, with the swords. He was actually killed by a bayonet, but it was the sword stabbing the circle, which is an indication on that's how he really died. Now, the interesting thing about all of this is we found out through the cards, through what people will see in the documentary. Captain Swayze is not upstairs. That everybody assumed that he was upstairs. He's not. He's actually downstairs in the basement hiding. And he doesn't move around very often. He stays in the basement. What we found out was through the cards, the negative energy that's upstairs is the man that killed Captain Colin Swayze in the basement.
Wow.
So whoever this man was died later on in the war, and for some reason his energy came back to that inn. We don't know why. Maybe it was his only killing. Who knows?
What's your theory of why?
My theory is it was probably, and that's why I said what I said. I think it might have been his only killing. He felt very remorseful about it. He was looked upon very negatively, and that's why his spirit or his energy went back to that inn, and that's why he's so angry, because unfortunately he can't leave.
I believe that theory.
Yeah,
100%.
But it's really, really, really cool. There was a lot of things that happened. Not, you know what? They think that they tend to think the negative energy is something on the demonic side. It's not. It's just a very pissed off spirit, to be honest.
Yep.
So, yeah. But those were two little scenes from the documentary that should be coming out in the next month.
That'd be good to watch.
Now,
Yep, looking forward to seeing that.
One question I want to ask you guys is, where do you see this field going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Do you want to answer that first?
Anyone who wants to go first.
Where do I see this field? From what we've all been doing over the last year, I think it's helping towards the field. I think these podcasts help towards the field, to making the field a little more legitimate, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't think it is. I think we're getting rid of these slowly but surely. We're getting rid of these negative people in the field. These people that are continuing to faking videos. I think we're waking up the viewers.
Yep.
And not the people that are doing the videos. I think we're waking up the viewers who have been watching these videos. I think if we continue doing what we're doing, by continually having these type of shows, having these type of discussions, and calling out these fakers, I think eventually they will be gone, and our field will be looked at a little more legitimately. And I think if we continue doing what we're doing, we will eventually get rid of these people, because then, nobody's going to be watching their videos anymore for the purposes of why they're watching now, thinking that they're seeing real demons and stuff like that when they're not. And they will start looking at these videos as entertainment and only entertainment. And maybe somewhere down the road, we can, like paranormal investigators, or even scientific researchers that are in this field, will start getting grants so they can study this more, start getting money so they can study this more, and to make this field really a legitimate field, because really it is, but the problem is with saying that, there are paranormal investigators out there that are true paranormal investigators, but they're not studying the evidence long enough to really determine if it's something actually spirit or just outside noise, or maybe somebody was in the room that whispered that doesn't recall whispering. You know, it's stuff like that as well. So I think we're all going in the right direction on what we're doing right now. And like I said, having these podcasts, having these shows, calling out these fakers is helping. Is really, really helping.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
No, I agree. How about you, Robin?
I just see it getting better and better because, like I say, we're all doing our own thing. We're all getting better connection, better evidence on camera. Everything is, and like Bryan said, all these figures, people can pick their videos apart. When people can't pick ours apart, then
yeah, it's people like Lex. You know, it's like Lex is calling out the the fakers and stuff like that, and like the segment we have at the end of Through the Lens with fakers, and he's calling out these fakers, and I think people are really starting to recognize these people. And they're really starting to call them out. Look what happened. I think it was almost a year ago or just under a year ago. One of the bigger YouTubers finally admitted that he was faking his videos.
Yep.
And I tell you, I saw some of the comments. I saw some of the comments from the people after he did a video. They were, who I'm talking about? I think it's Urban Explorations. His name was Joe. He finally admitted that he was faking his videos, and their people were pissed. Like, there were comments in there like, I've been watching you for the last several years and I've given you money. Now finding out that you're faking your videos, I'm never watching another video again of yours. And he lost a lot of followers, but that just goes to show you that these people that are watching these YouTubers that are faking their videos, they're actually believing what they're doing. And this is what we need to stop, and I think, and I know it's difficult. I think somehow, some way, YouTube has got to make sure that these people put in entertainment. They're not real paranormal investigators. I think it was Lex, or it might have been Patty who said this. She goes, half of these YouTubers that have 3 million or 4 million followers, I guarantee if they ran into an actual spirit or something demonic, they would run.
Oh, they crap themselves. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
So as paranormal investigators, I always say we run towards the noises, not away from the noises.
True.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah.
When someone says to me, "Do not go into that room," I hear them saying, "Go into that room."
It's a Charlie Brown moment, right? Wah 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 wah.
What my lads say to me now is to say, "I'm just not going to say anything. Just do what you want."
Yeah, exactly what Philip said there.
Yeah,
they get brown pants. They get brown pants. And by the way, I will let you know, I do know of a very popular YouTuber that did encounter something not necessarily nice, and he ran out of the room. And I'm not going to say the name, but he ran out of the room and wanted to leave.
Hey,
so and that was from a legitimate source. I will say that. How about that?
That's funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just appreciate you guys coming on with me today. I just want to do something short. I just want to, get some people on, have a little live.
We're going here. We're going here. Let's keep going.
You want to keep going? Okay.
Yeah. We're
Okay,
going.
okay,
and
cool.
Besides, Robin just got here.
Okay, cool. Well, Robin was so quiet, I forgot he was even here first.
Unless Nando wants to leave. Nando, you want to leave?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, there you go.
Cool. So, all right. Well, Bryan, then you start off the next question.
Okay. Well, you're putting me on the spot there.
Can I just interject? And I've got something to say based on around what you were saying about, where the paranormal field is going. We're growing and it's getting stronger and stronger. The only thing that I would say to any paranormal investigators, like people that are being true to themselves and to their viewers, is don't be scared to post if nothing happens. The you know, sometimes we go to these locations, and unfortunately, it is quiet. You're never going to get anything. But I think it's important to share that with the viewers as well. You know, to show how real your investigations are, because one night could be amazing, and the next will be flat. You know, and it really does show. You know, because the other thing that I worry about with these YouTubers and these shows is that they seem to pick up on everything. You know, every time they go out, something always happens. And when we go out and we spend, you know, we spend a good 6 hours at a location at night and nothing happens at all. And it just baffles me how everyone on these YouTube channels get something all the time, but then sometimes we just don't get anything. So I would say don't be afraid to show that you're not getting anything. It just shows how real you're being.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. I think that's a really great point, don't you, Brian? Because
I do. Can you share my screen again? I don't know if you guys saw my new little buddy.
No. Oh, that's awesome. That's your new pup?
That is Maximus.
Maximus. I like Maximus. Everyone, hello, Maximus.
That is Maximus. Actually, he's laying right behind me right now. He goes everywhere I go, he goes.
How old is he?
He is he's 15 months old, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
we just adopted him, and he came from not a very nice home, and so we took him in, and that's my little man now. That is my man. You know what? He is a French bulldog, yes, but I think he's got a little bit of American bulldog in him as well. Nice. You can tell a little bit about the face, but we found out how much he weighed today. This guy weighs 36 pounds, for God's sakes.
Wow, getting big.
So that's my little guy. I'm bragging about my little guy there.
That's awesome. Well, Maximus, welcome to the team. That's it.
Yeah, he's sleeping right behind me.
But what you were saying, I totally agree with you on that. You know, like, don't be afraid to show that you don't get anything. I mean, there's multiple times where you go out and you're not going to get something. I mean, that's just the nature of the business. But you know, you get these people that go out and they get something every time. And you know, it's one thing if you're a top-notch TV show and you can do your research and you know what it is and you can get into these like iconic haunted locations. But even then, you know, you're not going to get something every time. I mean, if your connection is good, you may get something great on the spirit box, but it's not going to be a constant 24/7 where you're getting stuff. And, you know, like you said, Nando, don't be afraid to show that it's not, because that's important. You know, it shows that you are a true investigator, in my opinion, you know.
And the other thing I would say is when you're watching these YouTubers, the ones with all these followers and all these hits that they're getting, if you study the video close enough, sometimes you can see where the video's been cut to put something there. Like sometimes it just doesn't fit correctly, you know, and it's sometimes it is so cleverly disguised that if you watch it closely enough, you can sometimes see where the image quickly changes, you know. So, and unfortunately, when you're not in the industry and you don't, you know, again, I've only learned this over the last 2 years now, but when you watch it closely enough and you see it and you slow it down, even by going on your phone, and you can control how fast the image is going, you can see where it's been cut to put something in to make it happen. You know, so I would say to people that are interested in the paranormal, don't be drawn into everything these big hitters are saying, you know, because sometimes it's not as it seems, you know, and they're playing you a fool sometimes. So you just got to be really careful who you're investing your time in when you're watching these things. And, you know, like I said, sometimes we will go live through Parapost, Facebook, and if nothing's happening, we'll just sit there and have a conversation with people, and we'll say hello to everyone. Yeah. And then what you find is when you go back through your footage, something's happened behind you that you didn't even know happened. You know, so, and they're the key moments, because people have been watching you live, and you go, wait, you guys didn't see this, but look what we found when we go through our footage. And what we do is get a big segment of it so they can see that we've actually recorded it again from a long period. So we're not just cutting it down to the fine moment, we're getting a bit more in so they can see it's just playing through naturally. You know, so that's
so I have
sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead, AJ. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's what Robin likes to do. Robin likes to do raw and uncut, where he just goes straight in, one camera, does the whole entire investigation, no cuts, and does it like that, which I think is great to do. And a lot of his viewers love it because they know that he's, truly going into these places, not just, making a video just for entertainment, and trying to get people to, get subscribers. Like, he's going in there because he actually cares, which I think is very important. I mean, not saying that footage is bad or anything, because obviously you want to make a footage that's going to be, entertaining so that people are going to watch it, but you also want to keep your integrity of yourself and of your, team by not faking stuff, which is obviously none of us here do that, because it's appalling and we find it disgusting when someone does it, because, that's someone's loved one, or that's, someone in life that passed away in death and deserves the same respect as we get. So,
and that's what I've said this before. We're going to these locations. If you're lying about things and you're lying about what's happening, you're not just disrespecting the paranormal field, but you're disrespecting the history. And, one thing I always say now, and it's one of my things, is it's great that you're making money out of this. It's great that you got loads of followers, but are you really happy living your life being deceitful, and you prepared to leave this world being a liar? They might believe what you're doing, but deep down in yourself, do you really want to leave this planet knowing that you've lied and you've cheated people? Because I wouldn't want to leave like that. I wouldn't want to leave with that sort of conscience, knowing that I've spent all my life earning all this money, fooling people. So good for you, you're earning money for fooling people, but you're leaving this planet knowing that you're a liar. I wouldn't want to leave like that. That's not
that. And that kind of leads me to my question that I'm going to ask you guys. It's kind of a two-parter. So when you guys are going into an investigation, how do I want to word this? When you guys are going into an investigation, do you listen to the obviously we all know the history when we go into most places, but when it comes to the paranormal stuff, are you guys listening to that, or are you just paying attention to the history? You're going in there to find out what you're going to find. Do you listen to that about the paranormal histories when you go into a place? And once you go into that place, are you disappointed if you don't catch anything? And do you go back to that location? Make sense?
He wants to answer that first.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I personally, I don't read anything into it. I don't read any history into it. I don't read anything at all. I go in completely and utterly blind and deaf. And my mother-in-law is the one that does all my research for me. She'll listen to what we get. She'll then look it up when we get home and stuff like that. And then she'll message me and say, "Here, you never guess what? This came out and this was right and this was right." And I don't believe in listening to it. If someone's going to tell me the name of a family who used to live there, there's no point, because I could quite easily, not that I would, because I wouldn't, but I could quite easily bring that name up in the investigation, and because it's a name that I know was there. So I don't want to know nothing.
And if you don't catch anything, then
if I don't catch anything, then
you go back.
It all depends. If it's somewhere where I know that it is mega haunted and that people have caught stuff before, and I don't catch anything, then chances are, if I get a chance, I will go back. But I look at it as, if I don't know nothing about the place and nothing about the history of the place, and then I go there and don't get anything, then I haven't lost anything.
Yeah. Nando?
Do you know, I don't want to know anything about the location. I want to go in there a bit like what Robin's saying. You go in there blind and see what you can pick up. And then what we do is, because we branch off into different areas as a team, and we document everything that we do. We write it down, we record it, and then what we do, we sit and we talk together about, okay, what did everyone pick up, and see if there's anything similar. Even when we don't pick up anything, I would say, for example, prime example, the mausoleum. We had been there a number of times. We've been there and we had never picked up anything remotely to what we picked up when you come. You know, I do think it depends on the energy that's being brought into the location. You know, I think sometimes if you go in with the wrong mindset, you've had a bad day and you're letting that play on into the evening, you're not in the best way to really pick up anything because you're not in the mood for it. You need to go in there. But I would always give a location another chance, you know, because it's like I was saying earlier on, sometimes spirits just don't want to communicate with you. But it doesn't mean that they're not there. They're in the background. I do believe. And, you know, they always give subtle indications that they're there. A feeling, a weird breeze that suddenly just comes across you, you know. But, yeah, I would definitely go back. But checking the location before, I wouldn't do that because then you're sort of, in your mind, you may subconsciously say something and think you hear something because you read it earlier in the day. You know, so yeah, I would avoid looking at the location history until you've investigated it a few times. And then once you've got enough, you know, stuff documented, then start reading into it or get someone, you know, that's not part of the team that say, well, this is what I found. How's that marry up to what you've documented? And then go that way.
AJ?
I like that. I like that approach. I mean, for me, I do the same thing. I don't want to know the history. I mean, the only thing I want to know is if the location is haunted. Sometimes I don't even care about that because I'll do cemeteries that are very old where I live. Because where I live on a road where George Washington traveled in 1776. So my whole entire town is like really from the 1600s. We have old cemeteries that are like overgrown and like 1600, 1700 from the Puritans that have like witchcraft not witch well yeah witchcraft symbols of a protection over their graves. So I don't go in with any knowledge there. And then I'll go and I'll do my investigation, and if I don't get anything, I'll go back again, but it'll take me a little bit. I'll try to go to other places first to see, you know, obviously locations and what I can get. But then I will go back because, you know, just because one night that I don't get anything doesn't mean that I'm not going to get something another night. And a lot of the places around here, especially cemetery wise, there isn't really investigators that come over and go to the cemeteries around here, which is nice. And they're not like the type that are guarded. I mean, there is a couple like Union Cemetery where the Warrens investigated and said was haunted. Like that place you can't get into, even if you go and ask the town will not budge because I've tried. But all the other, you know, cemeteries, they're pretty cool to go to. You get some great evidence, great spirit box. We've even had an investigation where we had a kid named Dante who led us to his grave, and we were able to find his grave through Find a Grave, and then we ended up finding it while we were there, which was cool. He was a little kid, about I think he was 9 years old, 7 to 9 years old, and everything was right on his grave. It was the coolest thing. But you know, like I said, like I'll go back to places if you know, they don't produce something. It depends how the night goes, and it depends what I'm feeling. If I'm feeling something's there, but something's just not communicating, I will go back. But if there is absolutely no evidence, I don't feel anything, then I may not go back. It's a really on the fence type move, you know.
Interesting.
I've got a question for you guys, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Again, you know, we're looking at how people do things differently. And again, it's stuff that I've seen on YouTube, and I sort of sit there and think, excuse my language when I say it, but it's just no way to say it. This is shite. You know, it's absolute shit. What do you think of people being possessed by spirits? You know, do you believe that's something that they can do? You know, I know it's heavily, you know, a lot of the stuff, again, I'm basing it on stuff that I've watched, and I sort of sit there and think, you being serious, you know. And but what's your thing? What's your guys' take on the fact that people being possessed and being controlled?
I want to go first on this one. The reason why is, okay, so my father, for example, okay, he suffered with what doctors would call schizophrenia. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me and my father would be sitting in the living room. We'd be watching TV, and out of nowhere, he would go like this. And I'd be like, "What's the matter, Dad?" And he'd be like, "You didn't just see the guy in the top hat who just walked through the kitchen?" He goes, "He just walked through the kitchen and walked right through the wall." Another time, I saw a dog that was sitting right next to us, and he would sit there and go, "Shut up!" And I'm like, "What are you yelling shut up to?" And he's like, "There's a black lab sitting here, wagging his tail, like, you know, all happy, and all this stuff." Now, my dad was a sensible guy where he wasn't a schizophrenic to the point where like he was crazy, where he couldn't go out places or he couldn't normal life. He lived a normal life. He worked a normal job. You would never even know this man even had schizophrenia unless he openly told you. And my thing is, I believe that the way that people are possessed by spirit is a little different than what we think by TV. I don't believe that the head spit. Believe that you're gonna, have a Emily Exorcist, Exorcist Emily Rose type shit. But I do believe that there is a possession type way where spirit will obviously, like an attachment, will latch on to you, and maybe get you to the point of schizophrenia. I mean, I kind of am on the fence about schizophrenia, where I kind of think maybe it is something spiritual in a way, because it's only triggered by trauma. But could it be just the brain, hallucinating? Of course, absolutely. So I'm kind of on the fence, but just like what you said, you think it's bull, but I haven't really, seen too much evidence, up in my own opinion, in my right in front of my face, to say yes, I totally believe.
And I respect what you're saying. That's on a personal, like, what I'm looking at is people that are actually saying that their whole body's being controlled, and then suddenly they break out of it. Like, 1 minute they're being controlled, and then 1 minute they're like, okay, and then they say they don't know what's going on or what happened. They play absolutely clueless to it, and that's the part I find hard, that you can just suddenly snap out and then start walking off and doing something else. If someone's taking your energy that strongly, surely that's going to leave you weak, because you imagine, we're saying energies that communicate with us, it draws a lot of their energy, and then that's why they suddenly slowly they fade away and you start getting less and less. Well, what's your thought, Brian?
Well, hold on, Brian, before you go, I want to say one more thing. So, Nando, I had this experience. Me and Robin did a spirit box session. He did it on his end, and then I did it on mine. And we ended up having something negative come through, to the point where it shut Robin's phone completely off,
Wow.
like froze it, everything. And then on my side, it was coming through the video chat and talking through the spirit box that I had, and caused some issues through it as well. Well, it ended up like attaching to me. And I ended up waking up sleepwalking in my house. Like, I would fall asleep in my bed, and then all of a sudden I woke up in my uncle and aunt's room, which is like upstairs, through two doors. I woke up in their room against their wall, and like at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I freaked out because I didn't know where I was. Then all of a sudden I came back downstairs, went to sleep. Next minute I know, I woke up and I'm on the side of the road, and I'm smoking a cigarette, and I have no idea how I got out there. So I believe in possession in a certain way.
He's a peeping Tom.
Yeah. Thanks. Real quick before Brian answers, I just want to say, Giuseppe, thank you so much for watching, my friend. Thank you for saying we're a beautiful bunch of people. Appreciate that, and good to see another Italian in here. And just want to say Italian, hey, and hey, Mambo Italiano. So thank you. Appreciate you. But go ahead. The question.
To be perfectly honest, I do believe you do get attachments. I kind of wonder, with the scenario that happened between you two. Somehow before you, when you went to sleep, it was in your brain, and somehow your brain did something while you were sleeping that made you do weird things, not necessarily possession. So I do believe there's attachments. I find it very, very, very difficult to believe in possessions. That's
agree.
Personally me. And for example, when we went to Octagon Hall, the famous video of Carl being possessed, personally, I think he was a he was a schizophrenic, or however you say it. And I think he had that problem. And I don't think he was possessed. I don't think any of those. I think he had a mental breakdown, and I think it caught up to him, whatever. I'm not a huge believer in possession. I believe you can get an attachment. For example, I was at a place last year, and the energy was very, very strong in the place. I felt like it was with me, and I had to take a break, and I went outside and I threw up.
Wow.
And and then being in London, or being in the UK, I think I came back with a little girl that was attached to me, that I went to the forest with Rosie and her mother. And I think that's where I got the attachment from. But I don't believe in this whole possession thing. You would really, really have to prove to me that possessions really, really exist, because everything I've seen, it's all been bullshit. And you know, like these YouTubers, even the TV shows.
What about?
There's
Sorry,
a video on, and sorry, Paraflixx, I'm going to call you out on this. There's a video on Paraflixx right now. The people that did the 4 guys that did the Conjuring house. And one of the guys supposedly was possessed. He went outside and he was acting like he was possessed. Like they tried to talk to him and he wasn't talking. To me, that was all show. It was all an act. It was show. It was crap. And these YouTubers and they're all 4 of them are the YouTubers, and they all known to fake their videos. So I thought that was pretty crappy. But possession, I don't know. I have to see it, and they would have to prove to me it was an actual possession for me to believe that happens. I do believe, though, you get attachments. I do believe that, but in a possession, a complete takeover, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So
you, Robin. Oh, you already answered, right?
And I just like Bryan said, we're always told, and we always say when we do the investigations that we're in control, that we have the power over them and stuff like that. So if that's the case, I mean, I know what happened with that spirit session that we did, but you know, I just think that there's such a fine line between what people call, you know, possession and what people call attachment, that it can be one and the same. Although I know you did suffer quite a bit with it.
Yeah, but you know, I tell you what, it was an experience, and I just think it was just an attachment. But you know, like I said, I'm very open, like I'm very sensitive. So I mean, could it have just have been, you know, me going to bed thinking about it? Of course. And could it have just been me acting out in my dream or something?
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, the weirdest part about it is that it only lasted for a week, and then after that it stopped. And I never done that ever since, never done it before. But hey, you know what? Like you said, it suggested
even when he's sleeping, he's going to the street corners.
Exactly.
Hey, Brian, you want to see how I get there?
Oh God! Oh, you got your e-bike, eh?
I got my moped, baby. Watch out.
Is that an electric or
49cc?
Okay.
I can ride them around.
I'd like to please take a video when you're driving that through the winter.
Oh, I will. I did it today, baby. I just didn't. I had to go back. I had to drive it home an hour and a half. Okay, from East Hampton to Middletown over here where I live, and it was the longest drive of my life, and it was like 20 degrees outside. It sucked.
He's going to do a ram raid on it.
There's a new guy that came up. It's got an interesting YouTube channel name.
What's up, Feces Face? This is the party.
Feces Face.
Goes,
that's awesome. That's great. He's got crap all over his face.
I love
Here,
it.
I've got a quick question for you, right?
Okay.
I'm just back tonight. I did another 2 parts to the Celebrity Cemetery series that I did, and then I went to that other location I showed you, right? All in Liverpool.
No.
Now, yes.
Well,
Right, one second.
It's all suspense right now.
I love how Robin just in the middle of a question just said peace out. Did you like that? He didn't say bye, didn't say hold on, just said bye. That's how this podcast goes, people.
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah.
So the first grave that I went to, right? Now bear in mind that this cemetery in Liverpool is massive. Absolutely massive. Now Nando will know who this is. I'm not sure about you two. Cilla Black.
Yes.
Right. I went to her grave and did a Celebrity Cemetery series on it. In that cemetery, I found that grave almost straight away without even having to look, and it's massive in there. So to me, it was like I was supposed to find it, and then when we got to it, and I took a walk over to the actual headstone part of it, there was footsteps I could hear walking in the leaves around it, and there was nobody there.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
And it's like literally, I
well,
was supposed to do that.
Here's a question: was it windy? Because if it was windy, you could be mistaken the sound.
No, trust me, it was not. It was nothing to do with wind. It was calm night.
Did you catch it on your audio?
No, because the thing is, at this time, I wasn't filming.
Jesus.
Of course.
Of course. That always happens.
Always happens.
Always.
That's that's what happened to us at Octagon Hall. Me and Adam were standing in the room where you set up a lot of your equipment. It's a fairly decent sized room. It's got a large table. There was like a cabinet over here. I was standing about 5 feet away from it. Adam was standing over here, probably about 10 feet away from it. And all of a sudden I heard this something. I looked up, and there's a cabinet there, has 2 glass doors, you know, wood frame and stuff like that. And one of the doors was starting to shake. Just one door. So it started to shake, and I look at Adam. Adam looks at me, and did that just happen? Yeah, it did. And of course, we didn't have our camera going.
Didn't have the camera. Yep.
Yeah.
How about
we had a similar situation where we went. There's this place in Gosport in Portsmouth, the 1940s tea room. Brian, I know this location.
Yes, great place.
Anyway, we had some really good responses with Brian and Lex. So a couple of weeks later, we went back and thought, you know what, we'll carry on and see what we can uncover. Anyway, so we were doing like the pre-walk round, like deciding where we're going to do things. And in the back of this tea room, now, I don't think the actual building itself is haunted. I think it's all the stuff that she's been donated, because a lot of it is wartime stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree. A lot of it's residual.
Residual stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's what draws an attraction to, because you got the old dockyards as well, that would have had, like, you know, military back in the day when they were all coming through Portsmouth. Now, we were in the back and we were deciding where we're going to set up these cameras. Now, this lady that owns the tea room, she's got these big industrial shelves, like real strong metal, so you can't shake it. And she had plates on there. Anyway, we were talking, and we were with another team member, Little Joe, we call her. And the plates flew off.
Wow.
But it wasn't the plates that were at the front. It was the plates behind the plate at the front. And a load of them flew off. And it looked like the way it flew off, it was like purposely trying to get Little Joe and the owner, because we were talking about the energy that we were picking up before. Because I think it was Brian that asked the question, were you in World War 1 or World War 2?
I think it was Lex.
And then it was Lex, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we were talking about that, and then suddenly these plates. But when we looked at what plates flew off, it was the plates from behind. So she's got plates at the front, and there was a stack of plates at the back, and 3 plates from the back had flew off and smashed all over the floor. And I was like, was anyone recording? And I was like, shit. That would have been a perfect bit of footage, but none of us had our cameras on at that point.
Mm.
It's like like Spirit knows. It's like Spirit knows the minute you start recording, and it's like that's where the activity for some reason will die down, and then it'll come in waves. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but if it's residual, they wouldn't know.
No, you're right. You're right.
So
what's your take on residual, though? What's your take on the residual hauntings? What do you think it is? Do you think stone tape theory? Do you think what's your opinion?
Yeah, I do believe it is stone tape theory. I just for example, there's a place not too far from here. It's about an hour and a bit drive. It's called Ghost Road, and a guy died on a motorcycle. He crashed his motorcycle, hit a barbed wire fence. Unfortunately, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to say this, but he kind of lost his head. And it bounced off the rock, which was right beside the barbed wire fence. And so what happens when people go there, when they, for some reason, every time somebody's there, because this road is like one way, and then you can turn down the road where the actual rock is. So it's kind of like a three-way kind of type of thing. So
Yeah,
people actually looking down the road, and you can actually see a motorcycle headlight coming down the road, and then it disappears.
Yep.
And it happens every time somebody's there. They always see the headlight of a motorcycle and it just disappears. So it's almost like it's playing over all the time. And yeah, so residual to me is, they have no idea. They have no idea that they might not know they're dead.
I was gonna say, do you think it's just a release of energy, right? A release, like a playback of a scenario, a release of energy.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah, but residual is a very interesting. I don't think you know what, to be perfectly honest, I know a lot of people talk about residual and stuff like that, but I don't think we'll ever really know what residual can really do. Can they hear us? Can they not hear us? I don't think anybody will really know. I know everybody has their own different theories, but
Nando, before you answer this question, what's your guys' theory also? And this is a two-part question now for you, Nando, is when people see an apparition, right? The apparition looks like, say, if it's in a hotel, it just looks like it's walking into another room. Do you think that spirit is seeing that place that they passed in the time period they passed in, or do you believe that they're seeing it in our time period?
It's a hard one. Like Brian's saying, we don't know for sure. We can only assume or make assumptions. I do believe that there's certain spirits. Now, I'm more drawn to the fact that if a spirit has died in a traumatic way that wasn't expecting it and then died straight away, sometimes I do think that they replay. It's like a broken record. They replay the trick because that's the last thing that happened to them, and they don't know how to move on, or they're stuck in that moment. Do I think there's a way that we can still communicate with them? I think eventually, I do think they become more aware, and maybe, us asking the right questions and trying to get them to understand. I do think we can. But yeah, it's a
what? I honestly think that's what's happening at the gym that we went to.
What, the Don Silers?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening in the main gym part, not in the house part, because that's something different. But what I think is happening in the gym part, where the main hospital was, I think my theory would be is the nurses that were there are still working. And they think they're still working.
And I do think, like Brian's saying, like maybe their residual energies because they've lived a traumatic life. I do believe sometimes where, we're using scenarios like people that go to the army, they come out with PTSD, and they've never learned to deal with it, and they die with that condition. And then I do believe sometimes they go back to the moment where they were traumatized in a way, and they keep reliving that, So I do think sometimes, they can, depending on the life they've led, like you're saying with the hotel, I do believe sometimes we got fit. I know this subject could be, anyone can say anything, but we went to Merley House last Friday, and this was once known as a workhouse, massive house, and they would have had chambermaids, they would have had, servants going in and out of the house every day. And we're on the second corridor do you remember where the big nursery is, Brian?
Yes.
Second floor. But anyway, we set a camera up there and no one was there. And you got a door where the servants will come through to do their servings throughout the day. And we catch this light anomaly like an orb, but it moves very, very slowly through the corridor like someone's walking through. Wow. And then my opinion to that would be, well, someone's still there thinking that they're working. Yeah. And they're living that. But it's not the first time we've caught orbs. We caught an orb coming down the stairs. Yeah. And the way it actually takes the pattern of the stairs, like they're walking down the stairs. Yeah. I do think spirits can get stuck and they don't realize that they're living the same moment. Yeah. I think it's.
I can't wait to get back down to the UK, and this time Robin will meet up with us this time. Yeah. When I first was When I first was going down to the UK, I didn't really know Robin that well. I know
Yeah.
he messaged me a couple of times. We spoke a couple of times, and he asked if we can meet up. And I thought Robin was just
He's a
psycho.
creeper.
He was a creeper.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Creeper. The troll that lives under the bridge.
All of a
So
sudden, I'm
that's
getting a
you.
message. All of a sudden, I'm getting a message from Robin. He goes, "Oh, you're coming down to the UK. Why don't we meet up?" Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all over that. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
But you know what we're saying? We're saying
B&B.
about this. You know, it's such a great thing to do. You know, this is what's making the paranormal industry stronger. Is people that have never spoken to each other before that are coming together and they're sharing their knowledge. There's too many people that want to outshine other people. But what we're doing is so much better. We're sharing each other's knowledge, experiences, and we're working together. And I think it was such a great thing to do. You know, we had a mix of people. We had the two Robs that joined us, you know, Brian and Lex, and it was just a great thing to do, you know.
Yeah.
And you being in Liverpool, what's the abandoned hospital, Robin? Oh,
Newton Park.
yeah. Have you ever been there at all?
Yeah.
And what's your thoughts on that? Because I know a lot of people seem to be investigating. And you know, Newton Park Hospital, it looks massive and it looks absolutely brilliant. But what's your take on that location?
It is haunted. It's just that when we went with a company who were running a ghost hunting night, and they were about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. they really were. Honestly, because what happened was there was 3 places left on the ghost hunt when we went, and we booked the 3 places the night before it was due to go on. Well, when we arrived there, they had a manifest, and our names weren't on it, and they weren't going to let us in until they actually showed them their online receipt when we paid for it. And then they started off the night by giving like a little chat inside the hospital and asking if anybody had any psychic abilities that were there. And you could tell that everybody there was all handpicked, and nobody was saying nothing. And Julia and my mother-in-law, they were saying to me, put your hand up. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to, because I want to see what happens. But they kept on asking the question. And then eventually the mother-in-law went, he is, pointing to me. They blanked me the whole night.
Oh, that's awful.
I do have a question.
Okay.
I do have a. What are some of these users that are coming in here with some of these names?
I don't know. I love it though.
Fabio never sniffed a seat.
Fabio, I am so happy you never sniffed the seat. This is fucking awesome. I am.
And then Giuseppe, Italy, hand definitely not in pants.
I'm happy.
Definitely AJ's crew.
Yeah. Sorry, these are all.
Oh God, that's funny.
I apologize.
Feces face is an interesting one.
Yeah. I told you, best gummies in town. I attract everyone. I can't help it. But yeah. So anyway, anyone else have any other questions before we go? No.
Here's a question.
All right.
I have a question. How is everybody doing?
Yes. Go ahead, Robin. You go first.
Doing all right, yeah. Just getting over the flu and been out to a couple of investigations tonight, including a place that I've been trying to get into in Liverpool for ages, and I finally get into it tonight. So
great, awesome, and it went well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you going to be putting the video up online, or you just study it yourself?
I'll put the video up. Yeah, I'll not be putting it up just yet. I've got about 3 or 4 to go through. So whenever.
Or send them to me and I go through, because that's normally what ends up happening.
Not lately, no. Not lately. Yeah. I've been doing all right.
You're right. You're
I'm
right.
learning.
Stepping his game up, Brian. Nando, he's stepping his game up.
And I saw the new video, the new intro for Portal to the Paranormal today.
And I've got to thank our brother Matt for that. He did a brilliant job for me doing that.
That was great. I saw it on TikTok today.
Yeah, so we're sharing it out. It's good to get something really good to put up. For us, we're just enjoying what we're doing, and then we've got things coming up. In the new year. With Global Ghost Hunt. I'm really excited. Brian set me the task of trying to put a show together. For promoting Global Ghost Hunt and also Proofs that we've all partnered up with. So I'm really excited about doing that. Me and Matt are working together, putting an intro together for it. And then with Portal to the Paranormal, we got a few locations that we'll be going to. We're securing some new locations as well for next year. So we've got a lot more.
I wish I'd lived in the UK. I really do.
There's so many. And we've actually got a cameraman that's joined the team as well. He's really good doing footage. So we're hoping to do a lot more filming and, putting like little documentaries together onto YouTube as well. So that's something that we're really looking forward to in the new year.
Very cool.
Really,
Awesome.
Excited about doing that.
Hey,
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
We tell all the viewers where we can find you guys, Nando.
Portal to the Paranormal. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We've got our shorts on TikTok, like short videos on there. And then Portal to the Paranormal YouTube channel. So it's Portal to the Paranormal PTTP UK. And you can find all our stuff. So we're doing a lot more on there now. And like I said, we're really excited. We're going to be trying to do more footage and like documentary style videos so people can actually sit there and watch what we're doing throughout the night. But we're going to keep it real. We're going to try and keep it as raw as possible, so they can see if nothing happens. But
yeah,
we're excited about what's going to happen. And hopefully we'll have the UK tour part 2 coming soon.
Cool.
With Brian
and I'm hoping to start releasing those videos in January. And
cool.
That's good, man. I'm looking forward to seeing those videos. Murley House was great. I watched a little bit of that last week when you guys were online, and it was good, man. I love the Murley House.
And just a quick question to finish off with you, Brian. Out of all the locations that you did in the UK, which one would you say was your top one?
Oh, that's tough.
And why?
That's tough. And why?
Why?
You know what? I would my 2 top places. I had 3 actually. The tea room was good. The mausoleum was good. And the caves that we did in Stoke were great. And those will probably be my top 3.
And it's funny that you said the tea room first, because just before we started the investigation, we were walking across the road with Brian, and he turned around and said, I don't think we're really going to get much here tonight. He walked in and he goes, he felt like there was something, but he really didn't think that we were going to get anything. And it was actually
I did mention I felt like there was a little boy and a woman there.
But you wasn't expecting to get much out of it that night. Where we thought we were going to end up just sitting there with a nice cup of tea and a bit of cake. But
that was good. That was a good part of the night.
Didn't happen.
That would probably be my top 3. The next time I come down, which is I'm hoping next year. It probably will be next year. I'm hoping to get in the castle this time. I'd like to get in the castle. And I think what I'm going to be also doing is I think I'm going to be going over to Ireland as well.
Ooh, Ireland's going to be nice.
Jenny said she would try to get me into Lemp Castle.
Ooh.
Well, if you come back down our way, we've also, and then maybe Robin, you can join in if we make this work. Oxford Castle and Prison.
Where's that?
Oxford Castle and Prison.
What day you like? What time of the year you think of going, Brian?
I was hoping
my thing in June, hopefully.
Yeah. Say again. Sorry.
I get off of my whole probation thing, so I can get overseas. I can go overseas in June.
Yeah, June could work. The weather's nicer because we did have a couple of cool nights when we were there.
Cool.
I would say June would probably be a good time to go if Nando and Sarah and all those guys are good with it, and Robin.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk soon. Stop. Yeah.
We can make it work. We made it work the first time round, and I think a part 2 would be brilliant. And you know what? Maybe revisit some of the locations that we did do and see if we pick up anything again.
Yeah, I definitely like to do the tea room again.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that tea room? She
Yeah.
said after we went in there, because that was the first time any of us have investigated that tea room.
Yeah.
She said she's had a number of teams in there, but she has never seen the amount of evidence that we picked up that night. And since leaving, do you know the army coat that Bryan had on, the sergeant's
Lex had
jacket?
on it. Lex had on it.
Yeah, the one that Lex had on. Basically, she has it hanged up on the stairwell on a hanger, and it's on a hook. She was walking up the stairs, and the thing flew off and smacked her right in the face.
Oh wow! Wow.
And she was like, "I've never." And then the light stopped working. Like she went in the next day, she couldn't get the lights to work.
Well, we did the marble in the glass upstairs that worked as well.
Yeah, Bryan said. Lex said about that. He actually saw it move. So
yeah,
and I'm really excited about seeing all that footage because I think that would be great stuff to see how simple those experiments are.
You know what a great experiment is? You get a plasma ball, you know, the plasma balls that have the electricity inside. So when you touch it, it goes to 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my buddy, Steve-O, who's another host on our show, he used it in a spirit box session with his portal, and he asked the spirits to touch it. And you could see them touch it because all the electricity goes to one spot. And they used it in the video. It's the coolest video I've ever seen in my life.
That's a good shout, using a plasma ball.
I was going to say, yeah, check that out. That would be fun.
Yeah, I've used the plasma ball once as well.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's definitely cool. But I'm hoping, definitely going to get down there next year, and we could aim for June for sure. I think that would be good.
Awesome.
Three words.
A lot nice. What's that?
3 words when you're over here. 30 East Drive.
I know. I want to do that place too.
We got to set it up.
I know you guys want to finish off in a minute, but you're saying 30 East Drive. I've been there, right? Do you think it is haunted as they say it is with the Black Monk, the poltergeist, or do you think it's more because of the film that was based there? I know it's meant to be based on true events.
Go ahead, Rob.
Have you been there, Robin?
I've been there 3 times.
Do you think it's as haunted as they say on these shows? And I know I sound like the person that's trying to debunk everything, but I just like to be real about everything that I do.
It is. Yeah. From my experience, it is.
Yeah?
Yeah, the stuff that we've had happening when we were there. And honestly, I've come out of that place so excited.
And is it sort of stuff that's happened based on the film and previous stories that they've said on TV?
It's just I can't really explain it. We didn't book it as a venue. I know the woman who lives next door and looks after it, Carol.
She cleans it, doesn't she? She doesn't like being in there for long, though, does she? She
tries to keep it whenever I go or whenever we go, we just go over and just basically turn up and knock her door and she lets us in for like an hour at a time or whatever. And she doesn't know we're coming, so she can't set nothing up. And the stuff that we've had happening in there, coins, marbles, earrings, you name it, balls coming from out of a wall, thrown at you. And I actually sat with Carol in the living room in that house, and I was looking out the door into the hall where the stairs are, and I could see a black mass, and it was swirling, and it was growing at the same time. And I never mentioned anything to her. Well, next thing, the black mass that I was watching darted into the room, and straight away she was rubbing her leg, going, "Get off me, get off!" And I says there, "I'll just watch that manifest there and come in."
It's definitely a weird build, a weird house. I'll give
it is.
But I don't know about it was just one of those off nights that we were there and not much happened. That's.
I don't know about the monk part of it, and about so many people have so many different theories and names and stuff as to who's actually in there. I went in there with my mind not looking for a monk in particular or a child in particular or the dad who died in the bathroom. Floor. I didn't go in looking for anything in particular like that. I just went in thinking to myself, right, I've heard so much about this place, so what's happening with it? And honestly, it was just unbelievable.
Well, that's definitely one for us to try together. Then I think if it happens in June,
Yeah,
we all make.
I think all our energy together and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And just being from different parts of the world as well and stuff like that. I tell you an experiment I'd love to do in there. Brian, have you ever been to Hinsdale House?
No.
AJ,
No.
you haven't, have you?
No, I have not yet.
Right. Before you come over here to do that, if one of you can investigate the Hinsdale House,
And do an
because that has the connection. When Nick Groff did it on Paranormal Lockdown, he did it because he was at the Hinsdale House and something followed him home from the Hinsdale House to his house and told him that he needed to go to 30 East Drive. And that's why he came over here with Katrina and did it.
Well, you know what experiment I would like to do with one of you three, if we're all going to be going out there next year. I'd like to do what Satori and Cody do. So if we can come together and hold hands, and
yeah,
you guys are not seeing the joke there.
Wait,
You know who Satori and Cody are, right?
Wait. How about if we just
hold hands and then we
how about
just talk and
we get butt naked and then we just
nobody found that funny at all. So
just fuck in the random place. Remember that podcast? That was the best podcast I ever watched. Yours, Brian.
Was that Ken Allen?
That was Ken Allen. Yeah.
Oh.
Ken Allen is my favorite person known to man.
So you guys didn't get that joke at all, did you?
No, I didn't. But that's great because
you know who Satori is and Cody?
No.
Satori Hawes, Jason Hawes' daughter.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know who Jason Hawes is, Nando? He's from Ghost Hunters.
I don't think I've watched Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, well, his daughter and Cody are boyfriend and girlfriend, and they actually go into these locations. They discovered a new technique that's working for them, and it's phenomenal what it's doing. So they hold hands, and then they start talking to the spirits, and their two energies together is helping the spirits come out. So they'll try to figure out somebody's name that's there, and they will go through the alphabet by saying A, B, C, D, and if it says, and if you hear a knock, like on the letter C, they start spelling out the name of the person that's communicating with them. It's actually really super cool. Just go to her Facebook and watch some of their Satori Hawes and Cody. They're actually called the what's their group called? The Paranormal Couple, I believe they're called.
I mean,
that sounds quite good. So they're feeding off each other's energy to build.
And it's something they discovered, and it's absolutely amazing when they do it.
And do you think it works then, Brian, in your opinion?
It's working big time for them.
Well, did you see Ghost Adventures does the same thing? They'll stand in a circle. They won't do the knocks, like technically, but they'll call the spirits in, and they've been doing it in a couple of newer episodes where they have like the people from the interview and everything. They'll stand in a complete circle, and then Jack will stand in the middle or something or whatever, or they're all standing in a circle and no one will stand in the middle, and then they'll have the digital recorder and they'll have it out and they'll have like that, or they'll see shadows, or they'll get like some kind of spirit box response. So I think we should do that if we all get together.
So me and Nando will stand face to face and hold hands, and
yeah.
No, but you know what? It's absolutely amazing what they do, and it's work. Like they just discovered that they discovered this, and they're able to do it. So if they're in a place and they come together and they're holding hands, and Satori's usually the one that's talking to them and figuring out who they're talking to, and they'll tell them the person to knock on the wall. They'll go through the alphabet to get their first initial, and then they'll go through their name to figure out who's actually there. And it's worked. It's absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, you know what? We'll try.
Well, I would rather hold hands with your wife than you, Nando, personally.
And I thought we were good friends now.
Right, Nando, I'll hold your hand, Nando. I'll hold your hand.
I'm just kidding.
But listen, what I wanted to say to you guys was, you know what's crazy is that like all these religions, right, in the sacred text, like the Bible, everything like that, I believe they have like these pieces that tells us about certain things about spirit, right? Like, for example, you know how you said when they're holding hands, you know, they're getting this communication. Well, in the Bible, it states when two or more gather, he is there in his name. So what if it's not just include Jesus, whatever. Say if they're talking about spirit, when two of us gather, our energy connection together can bring these spirits in, can bring and give them more energy to communicate. So I believe that this is totally true, that what their technique is doing, even though it sounds funny and kind of probably looks a little weird, I think it actually, like, I think it works.
Well, and I think that's one of the reasons why Ken said what he said.
Yeah.
When two people are having sex in a
Yeah.
haunted location, you're
Yeah.
more than likely going to bring out that spirit, because the amount
Yeah.
of energy that's generating from two people having sex,
Yeah.
it's you know, that depends if you're, you know, if you're a quickie, there's not much energy.
Yeah.
There's not
25
much
seconds.
energy forming. But
If you're an AJ, a 2-minute wonder.
Yeah.
well, that's what I was referring to, but not
Yeah.
necessarily AJ.
Yeah.
A
If you
2-minute
were,
wonder. How much energy is really collected?
whoa,
But
1 minute. You're giving me a lot more credit, man. 25 seconds.
Just based on that, you're saying about two people. So these two people that you're talking about, Brian, they're a couple. Do you
Yeah.
think like people that are in love with each other, and I'll use me and Sarah, for example, we've been together for what, 14 years. You know, we still love each other like the day we got married, for example.
Yeah.
Do you think our love could build more energy for spirits to come through then?
I believe
just
that.
the basics
I
of
believe that for sure. I believe that completely. I believe that two people that are together, that love each other, that there's so much energy between them. I think that can definitely feed. Listen, you're more than likely to get more energy off that than you are one of those boxes that have the two little wires sticking out of it and there's electrodes floating in the air.
Yeah.
Give me a friggin' break. So, you know, I think you're going to get more energy from two people that are together, that love each other, that are feeding off each other, that are with each other in a location. You're more than likely to get more activity. I truly believe that for sure.
On our next location, I'm going to go live and I'm going to put that to the test and see what happens. Me and Sarah, and we're going to go somewhere away from everyone else, just the two of us, making a special video for everyone. I'm only joking. But yeah, you know, we're definitely going to try that out and see, you know, if that works.
Just face each other, hold hands, get really connected really well, look at each other, maybe give each other a kiss before you start. You know, just okay. Yeah, you guys are in love from the first day you met. Yeah, okay. So you know, just stay connected and then just start talking to the spirits and see what happens. I think it's amazing. I think it's an incredible way to connect with spirit.
I've written it down, and it's something that I will definitely, and that's something that I'll put, you know, we'll just go live and just stand in the circle, just the two of us, and see what happens. And it'll be amazing if we do get a response. You know, how great would that be? Something very simple.
Oh, that'll be awesome. I think you're going to see some amazing results. And guys, anyone who's watching, you could find that on the PTTP OnlyFans. You'll see that. I'm just joking. But no. But for real, you guys are going to have seriously a great connection together because you guys share a great connection. And I think that love will definitely bring in, if you're showing the spirits love, you're going to see a connection. You can even do it at your house. I don't even honestly think that you would have to go anywhere to bring that connection in, to have a spirit box session, to connect with a spirit, to be honest, because I do it at my house. But I'm not saying do it at your house. I'm just saying I do it at mine. I come with love and light, and they do come, they do help. But with the two of you, it's going to be even more.
What? It'd be an interesting test for you guys.
Yeah, we've never tried it before.
Yeah. So just look up Satori Hawes on Facebook, and she might have some videos up there when they do this. And it's just I know there's some, I believe they were in a ghost hunter episode and they did it and it worked. And they got the person's name that was there, and it ended up being, I think it ended up being the husband of the woman that owned the place. and they spelt out his name. They just went through the alphabet. So they said, we want to get your name. So when we get to your first initial of your name, can you please knock or make a knocking sound? And it seems to work. It's just incredible stuff.
Guys, one thing I want to answer real quick for Philip. Philip, I wanted to let you know your question that you had was about how you passed out of a bar or pub or whatever, and you said you had 5 spirits, you woke up with ectoplasm, all this stuff. There's no really advice I can give to you on that, because I've never experienced anything like that, and I would have to know more of the circumstance. Ectoplasm is something that we can't see, that will be seen by, you know, people who are certain mediums. I forget the type of medium that you'll see ectoplasm come out of their face, but it has to be a certain lighting, a certain setting, certain camera that has to capture it. Because
I have a picture of an ectoplasm around me. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have it on you right now by chance or no?
I would have to find it, but if I find it, I'll send it to you.
Okay, yeah, please do. And if you do,
Yeah.
Phil, if you could see it, I'll post it on the Talking with the Source Facebook page. If Bryan does find
Let me
it.
see if I can find it. I think I might know where it is. But yeah, it's actually a really cool pic.
But yeah,
It's definitely an ectoplasm.
So yeah, if you find it, we'll put it up on it for sure.
And I even actually have a video of an ectoplasm in video.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could share that too. I mean, if you have the clip, I mean, if you want to, by all means. If not, if it's part of something, don't worry about it.
No, it's not. I definitely I could definitely find it here. It's really, really super cool. And we actually played it in slow motion, and you can see the 2 rising to the ceiling.
Wow.
Well, while Brian's trying to find that, let me throw a question at you two, AJ, Robin. Yeah. Now, the industry that we're in is quite a unique one in a way that a lot of people, when I tell them what we do, they sort of give me this funny look and think that I'm off my rocker. Oh. You know, what are your friends and family like with you guys doing what you do? Do they find it? Do you get some people that might? Robin's laughing, so he's had some like me. You know, do you get those looks and think you're just nuts? And
well, okay, so I tell everybody, okay, I take a ride through the state insurance over here called VEO, and I get taxis Monday, Wednesday, Friday to go to my doctors. And when I do, I get in the car with all diverse type of people from all different backgrounds, from people who are Islam, people who are Christian, people who are Buddhist, people, all different types of walks of life. And we get in this conversation about the paranormal, and I tell them what I do, and I tell them about my podcast. And I believe it or not, it's been all positive responses, and they've actually checked out the podcast. Some of them I see live when we're live. They come and say hello. We get in some very deep conversation, and the reason why is the way that I approach it is I try to approach it with the best way that I can describe it in a scientific way, instead of bringing up what people would call folklore and saying about Jonah the whale, or, you know, bringing up Bible stuff. Because when you start going down that route, and say if the person's Islamic and not Christian, you're gonna get into a little thing where they're gonna be like, okay, well, now you're crazy because you're believing something I don't believe. So I always scientifically try to explain it in energy form, and then they get interested and they start asking questions, and then it's always a good ending. So but Robin, please speak on your situation, because your situation is a little unique.
My situation is rather unique. Yeah. Whereas my family don't really care that I do it, apart from the fact that I'm 45-year-old and can't tell my mother that I do it. my mother, God bless her, she's not too well at the minute. She had a few strokes, and her memory's not great at the minute. But before that, she was like quite high up in her church, and you know, the fact that I was even watching Most Haunted, that was wrong of me to do that. So couldn't very well say, you know, oh, by the way, I go around contacting people. So she just thinks that I have this weird and wonderful hobby of going round, falling down buildings, taking pictures.
And I get what you're saying when it comes to religion, because my mum always says as well, you know, you don't know what you're playing with. And I always explain to her, as long as you're doing it in the right way and being respectful, you're doing it safely. But the people that do give the funny looks, and this leads on from the question that I've just asked, do you think some people boo-hoo it because they're actually scared of the unknown? In your opinion, do you think it's because they don't know what to expect, so they're scared of it? So instead of facing it, they walk away from it and they boo-hoo what we do because they're scared of it themselves.
I truly believe that. I truly believe that a lot of people don't want to even try to put their head around it or try to like think about it or think deeper in life because it does scare them. Because think about it, I mean, death in general is scary, you know, like we're on this earth for such a short period of time and time flies as it is. I mean, you know, like this year I just turned 34 and I'm looking back like, where's my 20s? I mean, we all do that, you know, we're all like, where the hell did 10 years go, you know? But so, I mean, when we talk about death, it scares a lot of people. And I think that they'd rather make fun of the subject because they don't want to try to wrap their head around it in their own way because it doesn't make sense to them. And whatever doesn't make sense to somebody normally scares the crap out of them, you know?
Found it.
I
Found it on. I actually found it on TikTok
okay.
because it's on my TikTok. And so I'm going to share this. This is super, super cool.
Okay. I got it up, whatever.
And it's actually in slow motion as well.
Oh, you know, you shared.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. Let me turn it up. So obviously I say ectoplasm or apparition. So here we go. I wonder if I can I make this larger? I don't know. I don't think so. Okay.
I have it.
So here we go. Yeah, okay. So here we go. Come on. Start.
So how many did it say? How many spirits did it say? 7 or 8?
7.
There's 8 or there's 7 or 8 here.
Oh wow.
I'll play that again.
So
Watch. There's one here and one here.
7 or 8?
7.
There's 8 or there's 7 or 8 here.
Isn't that cool?
That's good.
That's cool, eh?
Man, I wonder what that is actually, if that's ectoplasm or an apparition, because that looked like two black little masses. Like,
Yeah. What else do I have here? This is I got a lot here actually. Oh, this one's cool right here. Now, this one is super I believe it's this one. No, it's not that one. So I do have a video of a here's a real cool one right here. Now I'm filming here and you're actually going to see an apparition walk by or go by really quickly.
okay. Yeah. Oh, I just saw.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that one's really cool. Let's see what else I got here.
Hey, Bryan, put a mind click after you're done.
What's that?
After you're done showing yours, can you go to my TikTok?
Yeah, sure. What else can I show here? This was a Class A EVP that I captured, where it basically said, "What's your name?" Here we go. That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh.
That's awesome. I love that one. That one was cool.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
That one was really cool that I captured there. This one here, this one is super cool as well. We were at an actual, it's like a church, and I actually captured footsteps, and then you actually see a mist go by us.
Okay.
2011. Ghostly activity here includes the sounds of a large feast being prepared, music, footsteps, and more.
Oh.
I see animals. More.
Oh.
When the mist is right.
Wow.
I actually.
I see animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little hard.
One more time.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Ghostly activity here includes the sounds of a large feast being prepared, music, footsteps, and more.
Oh.
I see animals.
And the mist was right here.
Yeah,
it's hard to see in here.
Yeah,
but that one was super cool.
That clear as
okay,
death.
here's something really cool that happened while I was online.
Okay.
And watch this. Hooked up to the OBS, and that's why you weren't hearing anything. Now it's hooked up, so it's cool. The hell's that? See it?
Yeah,
Wait,
go right.
It comes up here and comes around back around. Now it's hooked up, so it's cool.
Oh wow.
Blimey.
Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome. That was awesome.
That one was that one's really one was really cool.
Robin, that reminded me of what happened on our show the other day, remember? You're muted.
Yeah, definitely that orb on the coming of your.
Yeah, Brian, I got to show you on our last live stream what happened, man. I had an orb come down right in front of my camera.
So what's your channel's name?
Coventry Circle Paranormal.
I was going to say, can you get my video up afterwards, and then
Yeah.
you think as well?
Yeah, put Nando's first.
No, get AJ's up first. But I want to show you the orb that we were talking about. You know, when we were talking about the residual energies, and they're going through. I just wanted to show you the video that we got from the cameras that we picked up, and see what your take is on it.
Which one's yours? Which one, AJ?
So here, you could do the Patty Negri one. I want to show you this orb that came across when we first had her on. Watch, it comes across her.
We were going to do a thing on the Black Dahlia house, and Dr. George Hodel, who did do it, and I've let him channel.
There you go.
Adventures and
You see that, don't you?
Yeah.
Producer, and we were going to do a thing on the Black Dahlia house, and Dr. George Hodel, who did do it, and I've let him channel on Ghost Adventures.
And what's crazy about that is she literally was talking about this experience that she was having in the house, literally 2 seconds before, how her doll literally slid forward in front of the camera live while she was on a live. It was the most wildest thing ever.
So is it PTTP or what is
Paranormal?
It? Pardon me?
Portal to the Paranormal is the full name.
Yeah, Nando, I got to send you some spirit box sessions that I did, man. There's some cool ones.
It'd be great to see.
Global Ghost Hunt one. Did you hear that one? It was really cool.
Yeah, I heard that on the intro with Matt the other day. Is the second one in after the intro? Is this one here? Yeah, that one.
501? 501?
Yeah, the one that you're on now. That one.
Okay. Oh, I see it. I see it already.
Yeah.
Wow. Footage from our cameras. Could this be a spirit walking the corridors of Murley House?
Wow.
That's cool.
What's your take on that, guys?
Footage from our cameras. Could this be a spirit walking the corridors of Murley House?
Now, Nando, where'd you catch that at? The Murley house?
So this is the Murley house in Wimborne. And it was basically basically like a workhouse, but like rich people would stay there, like a very wealthy family, and they had servants going through there. So the back quarters, the upstairs, you would find that's where their living quarters were. And then
Wow.
where this light comes out is where the servants would come down the stairs from their living quarters to get ready to serve. You know,
Wow.
they had access from the downstairs kitchen there, where they had like the dummy lifts where they put the
Yeah.
food and it just happened. No one was on that floor because we were all downstairs in the basement at this point.
Wow.
And then when we were going through the footage, you know, we just picked up, and the way it goes, it's very slow, but then it disappears before it actually goes off the screen. If you notice, it doesn't actually leave the screen; it disappears on the screen as well. What's your take on it, guys?
Dude, that's a great capture, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really super cool. Are you guys going to go live on TikTok? Because you got 1,000 followers now.
Yes, I know. We just achieved 1,000 followers, so yeah, we will. Finally, we are going to do lives on TikTok as well, and we're going to treat it the same way as when we go live and stream on Parapost.
I haven't done a live on because I have close to 12,000, and I haven't gone live on TikTok for a while, so I got to start going out and doing more investigations. And I found one that I might do, and again, they encourage people to come because the place is haunted. And is Robin frozen?
Robin, are you frozen?
Yeah, he's gone.
Yep,
He's gone. He'll come back in.
He'll
But
come
no,
back.
yeah, we're definitely going to go live on TikTok and see, because when you're watching live investigations, a lot of people seem to be tuning into the TikToks.
Well, TikTok's very popular. You can grow your YouTube channel really quickly with being on TikTok. I haven't been posting very much on TikTok lately, and I've been working on other things and stuff like that. And so I'm going to start getting back into that. I'm starting to do the videos. I should have a few videos coming out over the next week or two from on YouTube from the Octagon Hall and Bobby Mackey's. It will be on YouTube, but it's also supposed to be going to Paraflixx as well. So I'll do 2 different videos.
Cool.
Octagon Hall, I think, is going to be a 2 or 3 parter because we were there for almost 14 hours. And, so that should be coming out. I do have some other videos coming out on YouTube. So if people want to go over to my YouTube channel, it's Huntaphobia, Hunta phobia, all one word. And they can check out some of my videos there now. I'm 11 away from 1,000.
Well, let's get them to 1,000 people.
Let's get going.
1,000.
Get in there.
Yeah, 11 from 1,000, and so that's been 2.5 years in the making. And but there were times where I was just putting up clips and stuff like that, which really hurts YouTube when you put up clips. It actually hurts the algorithm. And when you put up clips, unless you're putting it into a short video. But people can go over and follow Huntaphobia. And Through the Lens, it's on YouTube as well. And if you're interested, if there's any paranormal investigators in here, you're interested, go check out Global Ghost Hunt, the website, globalghosthunt.com. And if you're interested in joining and registering your team and your location, if you want to be seen, this is going to be the event that you want to do that, because it's going to be streamed everywhere around the globe. So Huntaphobia and Paraflixx, yeah.
And just to mention as well, if there is anyone wanting to know more information about the Global Ghost Hunt, we do have a show coming out in the new year that we're going to start advertising soon. And this will be a great opportunity. If you guys got any questions whatsoever, we're going to have a panel of people that are part of the Global Ghost Hunt. And we're going to be sat there, answering any questions that you have, and really, sharing out what this is all about. So there's going to be, I know Brian's going to be involved, Lex is going to be involved as the directors, and we also got, hopefully, people come along from Proofs that Global Ghost Hunt has partnered up with. And not only are you showcasing your team, but you're going to be supporting a good cause as well. So that's to come. So do keep an eye out for the advertisements on that show. And hopefully anyone watching that wants to know more, get in on the show when you see it. Yeah. And then
it's coming out January 13th.
Yes, Friday
the 13th.
Friday the 13th. It's going to be good. There's going to be no problems. But that's in the making.
Well, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. Nando, if you don't mind sticking around just for a minute, because I want to ask you a question in the background.
Yeah, of course.
But Brian, are you got to head out, or are you going to stick around?
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. Just shout
Thanks
out your
for
guys'
letting me
stuff
on.
one more time. Nando, go ahead, shout your stuff out, and then Brian, shout yours out.
So we are Portal to the Paranormal, UK-based team. You can find us on, as you've just seen, TikTok, Facebook, and we're also on YouTube as well. So it's just Portal to the Paranormal PTTP. So yeah, tune in. We have got a podcast. We got a show on Wednesday at 8:30 UK time, but it's 3:30 Eastern time. So we got Dr. Chris Sumner. She is part of Soul Sisters Paranormal. So really excited about having a chat with her. So if you guys want to join in, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Cool. Very cool. I'll be there. So Huntaphobia Canada. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I got a lot of videos up there, but I think I got about 115 videos up there. So you can go check it out, Huntaphobia Canada. And I'm also on Paraflixx. If you're interested in Paraflixx, what you can do is you can go over to Paraflixx, the iOS or Android, and you can it's a subscription. But what you can do is it's a monthly subscription, and I think it's about $3.99. It's got all the paranormal that you want if you're really, really interested. But I will even go a step further for you, that if you're interested in joining Paraflixx and you go there, type in the code Parapost 25, and you will get 25% off your first year, and it will cost you about $1.89, I think, every month. And it's a good deal, and it gives you all the paranormal you want. Like, if there's enough paranormal on there, it will last you 2 years. It's like the Netflix. It's like the Netflix, but it's for paranormal. Yeah. So, but you can and the globalghosthunt.com. Go over and check it out. We got some great stuff on there. And if you're interested in joining your team in your haunted location, so Huntaphobia Canada is definitely what you want to see. Okay,
cool.
That's it.
Awesome.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
If I don't say it, Lex will give me shit.
Yep. Say it.
Every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. GMT time, Through the Lens, where we bring on guests and we interview guests that are paranormal investigators.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brian. Robin, shout out Haffer and Paranormal quick.
You just did it.
Tell them where to go. Tell them where to go.
Haffer and Paranormal on Facebook, on YouTube, and Talking with the Source.
Awesome.
There you go.
I'm AJ Capasso, host of Talking with the Source.
AJ, shout out Coventry Circle Paranormal on there, will you?
Yeah, and also lead investigator of Coventry Circle Paranormal. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have watched another episode of Talking with the Source. I'm here with my great friends. So happy you guys can join me, and I will see you guys all next time. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
See you later.